Now we will see the corollary of cyclic quadrilateral, that is related to its exterior angle. The corollary states that an exterior angle of cyclic quadrilateral is congruent to the angle opposite to its adjacent interior angle. I will explain the statement with the help of figure. See, in this figure, quadrilateral ABCD is cyclic. To get the exterior angle, this AB is extended, and on this ray AB, one more point E is taken such that A dash B dash E. So, this is given information, and we have to prove that this exterior angle CBE is congruent with the angle opposite to its adjacent interior angle. See here, angle CBE and angle CBA are adjacent angles, and angle opposite to this adjacent angle is angle ADC. So, this angle CBE is congruent to angle ADC. This we have to prove. Now, how to prove this? We know that quadrilateral ABCD is cyclic, and hence its opposite angles are supplementary. So, angle ABC plus angle ADC is equal to 180 degree. See, this angle ABC and angle ADC are opposite angles, so their sum is 180 degree. Now, we have to find out the another pair of angle in which angle ABC is common, but another angle also should be added such that they are supplementary. So, see that here this is exterior angle, means angle ABC and angle CBE are in linear pair. So, their sum is also 180 degree. So, you can write the next statement, angle ABC plus angle CBE is equal to 180 degree, angles in linear pair. Now, if we add this statement 1 and statement 2, statement 1 and statement 2, if we compare their left hand side and right hand sides are equal, and hence their left hand sides are also equal. So, angle ABC plus angle ADC is equal to angle ABC plus angle CBE from 1 and 2. Now, here if you see angle ABC and angle ABC common in both the sides, so we can subtract this angle ABC from both sides, or cancelling angle ABC from both sides, we get angle ADC is equal to angle CBE. That means angle CBE is congruent angle ADC. So, the corollary statement can be proved here. Children, we have seen the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral, in which if the quadrilateral is cyclic, then its opposite angles are supplementary. Now, the converse of this theorem will be what? In any quadrilateral, if opposite angles are supplementary, then it is cyclic. That means we can say that when we can determine the given quadrilateral is cyclic, that is the test for cyclic quadrilateral. Now, the first is what? The converse of this cyclic quadrilateral theorem, that is, if a pair of opposite angles of a quadrilateral is supplementary, then the quadrilateral is cyclic. Now, see, if the measures are not given, but then too very surely you can say that any type of particular quadrilateral is always cyclic. Can you guess that type of quadrilateral? Listen here, if you consider a rectangle. In a rectangle, its all angles are 90 degree, right angle. That means, if you consider any pair of opposite angles, then 90 plus 90 is 180, and that is why we can say that every rectangle is cyclic also. So, here in the examples we can give every rectangle is always cyclic because its opposite angles are supplementary. Which is another type of quadrilateral is a square, because square is also a type of rectangle as its each angle is right angle. So, in case of square also you can say that this square is also always a cyclic quadrilateral. And what you can say about their diameters and the center? Their center will lie on their diagonals, and diagonals of the square and rectangle are the diameters of the circle. So, children, always remember this test for quadrilateral. Another test is what? If we consider this line AD, now this line AD, A and D points are subtending the congruent angles with the two distinct points B and C, which are lying on the same side of line AD. That means angle ABD is congruent to angle ACD. Then we can prove that A, B, C and D, all these 4 points are concyclic, and if we get the rectangle if we draw the quadrilateral ABCD, then it is always a cyclic quadrilateral. Now, this test for cyclic quadrilateral is one of the converse theorem of another corollary, which is that in the previous section we have already seen that angle inscribed in the same arc are congruent. Now, see, angle ABC and angle ADC, if they are congruent, if they will be congruent if they are inscribed in the same arc. So, angles inscribed in the same arc are congruent. Now, if we join this AC, then for this line AC, angle ABC and angle ADC both are lying on the same side, and whenever these angles are congruent means all these points are concyclic. That means here also we can say that if angle ABD and angle ACD are congruent, then all these 4 points are concyclic. So, that quadrilateral ABCD will be cyclic here. Here quadrilateral ABDC will be cyclic if we join this BD. So, these are the tests for cyclic quadrilateral. Let us start practice set 3.4, the first example. In the first example, O is the center of the circle. AB is a chord whose length is equal to the radii of the circle. Point C is also lying on the circle. We have to find measures of angle AOB, angle ACB, measure of arc AB and measure of arc ACB. Now, children, here it is given that length of the chord AB is equal to radius of the circle. That means AB is equal to OA is equal to OB. So, what kind of triangle ABC is? It is the equilateral triangle. And what is the measure of each angle of equilateral triangle? It is 60 degree. And therefore, here angle AOB is also 60 degree. Now, children, so we can say here in the solution in triangle AOB, AB equal to OA equal to OB, that is given to us. Triangle AOB is equilateral triangle, and therefore angle AOB is 60 degree. So, the first answer we got. Now we have to find out angle ACB. We have already studied the inscribed angle theorem, and from that angle we know that angle ACB is half major angle AOB. So ACB will be half of 60 degree, that means 30 degree. That is the second answer. Now major arc AB. We know that minor arc is always equal to its corresponding central angle. So major arc AB is equal to major angle AOB, major of corresponding minor arc. So it will be equal to 60 degree. Now we know that the full circle measures 360 degree. So major arc ACB plus major arc AB will be equal to 360 degree, and therefore major arc ACB will be equal to 360 degree minus major arc AB, that is 360 minus 60 means 300 degree. So in this way we got all the 4 answers. Now we will solve the third example. Just look at this third example. Quadrilateral MRPN is a cyclic quadrilateral. Angle R is given 5x minus 13. Angle N is given 4x plus 4. We have to find the measures of angle R and angle N. Now see, MRPN is cyclic quadrilateral. I have just drawn the rough figure, that also you can see here, so that you will get easily the opposite angle pair. Angle M and angle P are opposite, angle R and angle N are opposite angles. So here in the solution we can write the first statement which is given to us. Quadrilateral MRPN is cyclic quadrilateral, given major angle R plus major angle N will be equal to 180 degree. Why? By using theorem of cyclic quadrilateral. Now see here, major angle R and N, their measures are already given to us, that are 5x minus 13 and 4x plus 4. So we can write, substitute the values here. 5x minus 13 plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 180 degree. Now if you add these like terms 5x and 4x, you will get 9x, and minus 13 plus 4 means minus 9. So 9x minus 9 is equal to 180 degree. Now simplify this to solve this linear equation. Each term is divided by 9, so we will get x minus 1 is equal to 20. So x is equal to 20 plus 1, that is equal to 21. After finding the value of x, you can substitute this value in the measures of angle R and angle N. Major angle R is 5x minus 13. So 5 multiplied by 21 minus 13. 21 5s are 105 minus 13, that is equal to 92 degree, and major angle N is equal to 4x plus 4, that means 4 into 21 plus 4. So 21 4s are 84 plus 4, that is equal to 88 degree. So here we have applied the theorem of cyclic quadrilateral. Let us see the 7th example from the same exercise. See in this figure, if you see this point M is lying in the exterior of the circle. Angle NMS we have to find out. Children, you must be remembering, after inscribed angle theorem, I have explained some corollaries, and in that corollaries, such type of figure was also given in which vertex of the angle is out of the circle. So how to find out the measure of that arc? Now this angle is intercepting two arcs NS and EF, and whenever the vertex is in the exterior, then measurement of this angle will be half the difference between these arcs intercepted by it. That means major angle NMS will be equal to half major arc NS minus major arc EF. This NS minus EF. Now arc NS is given 125 degree and EF is given 37 degree. So half of 125 minus 37, that is equal to half of 88 degree, and that is equal to 44 degree. So in this way we can apply this corollary of inscribed angle theorem and we can solve this sum. Let us see the next example, that means 8th one. In this, chord AC and chord DE intersect each other at point B. Angle ABE is 108 degree given. Now children, this ABE or DBC, these are not inscribed angles, because the vertex is in the interior of the circle, and in such type of figure we have seen that measurement of this angle ABE will be equal to what? Half the sum of the arcs intercepted by that angle and its vertically opposite angle. Now ABE intercept arc AC and DBC is the vertically opposite angle of it, which intercept arc DC. So we get the statement by using corollary of inscribed angle theorem. Major angle ABE is equal to half major arc AE plus major arc DC. Now you can substitute the given values. Angle ABE 108 degree, arc AE is 95 degree, and arc DC we have to find out. Now we can simplify this. 108 multiplied by 2, here cross multiplication we can carry out. 108 multiplied by 2 is equal to 95 plus major arc DC. So 216. Now 95 is shifted here. So 216 minus 95 is equal to major arc DC. So major arc DC is equal to 121 degree. So in this way here also we can apply the corollary of inscribed angle theorem. One more theorem we are going to see now, that is the theorem of angle between tangent and secant. Children, here three figures I have drawn. You can see in the first figure, line BC is tangent at point B and the secant AB is passing through the diameter only, passing through the center of the circle. In the second figure, if you see, line BC is tangent and secant AB is dividing the circle in two unequal parts. That means this angle ABC is acute angle. And in the third figure, if you see, angle ABC is obtuse angle. Now we have to describe the relation between the angle which is found by tangent and secant. So line BC is a tangent and AB is a secant. The angle between them is angle ABC. Here also ABC, here also ABC. And this angle intercept the arc ADC. Sorry, here ADB, here also ADB, here also ADB. Now what is the relation between them? The tangent theorem, in the first figure it can be proved very easily. If AB is a diameter, then arc ADB is semicircle. and we know that radius is always perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact, and therefore angle ABC is 180 degree, angle ABC is 90 degree, and arc ADB is, as it is semicircle, it is 180 degree. So relation is what? Exactly half. That means angle ABC is half major arc ADB. So here in this first figure it can be proved very easily. Similarly, in second and third figure also we can prove by doing certain construction, drawing segment MB, segment MA, then you can take the property of the angle of a triangle, and the proof is completely given in textbook. Just go through it. I am not taking in detail because generally the proof they do not ask in the exam for this theorem. So you have to just remember the property that angle ABC, even it is acute, angle formed by tangent and secant, it is half the measure of arc ADB, and here also angle ABC is half measure arc ADB. That is the theorem of angle between tangent and secant. Now children, one more property by using this we can explain. See, in the last figure, if you see, one more point is taken F on this minor arc AB. Now if we join AF and FB, then you will get angle AFB, which is also called as inscribed angle, and inscribed angle is always half of the intercepted arc. So angle AFB is half major arc ADB, and by tangent and secant theorem we also get angle ABC is half major arc ADB. That means here we can say that angle AFB and angle ABC both are congruent, and such type of angles are called as angles in alternate segment. Now why alternate segment? If AB is a segment we are considering, this chord AB divides the circle in two different parts. Now these both the parts are unequal. Now ABC comes on one side and angle AFB comes on the other side, and that is why they are called as angles in alternate segment, and such type of angles are always congruent, and this property is very useful while doing the construction of tangent to the circle without using the center of the circle. In the construction chapter, when you will construct the tangent line to the circle at any point on the circle, then this property is very useful. So here, if angle AFB and angle ABC are given to us congruent, then we can say that line BC will also be a tangent. So the converse theorem of this angle between tangent and secant can be used in the construction also. So just remember this property. Now we will see the next theorem which is very much applicable in solving the sums, that is theorem of internal division of chords. That means when two chords intersect each other internally, means in the interior of the circle. For example, chord AB and chord CD intersect each other at point E in the interior of the circle. So this is called as internal division. Now in this case we have to prove that the segments which are formed because of this intersection chord AB is divided into two parts AE and EB. CD is divided into two parts CE and ED. So the product of the parts of one chord is equal to product of the parts of other chord. That means we have to prove that AE multiplied by EB is equal to CE multiplied by ED. So how to prove this? For this we have to do the construction, that is draw segment AC and segment BD, so that we will get two triangles, triangle AEC and triangle DEB. Now children, you just compare the angles of these triangles. If you see, in both the triangles, angle CAB and angle CDB, see, these are inscribed in same arc, and that's why they are congruent, because we know that angle inscribed in same arc are congruent. So we can write angle CAE is congruent angle BDE, angles inscribed in same arc. Then one pair, that is angle AEC and angle DEB, is vertically opposite pair. So they are also congruent. And when two angles of one triangle are congruent with the corresponding angles of other triangle, then the two triangles are similar by angle test. So triangle CAE is similar triangle BDE, and when the triangles are similar, their corresponding sides are in proportion. That means AE upon BD is equal to DE upon, just a minute, AE upon DE is equal to CE upon BE. So we get this equal ratios of corresponding sides. And now if we do cross multiplication, AE multiplied by BE is equal to CE multiplied by DE. So we get the statement which is to be proved, that AE into EB is equal to CE into ED. That means the product of these two parts of the chord AB, AE into EB, that is equal to CE into ED. So it can be proved in this way. Now the next theorem is theorem of external division of chords. Now children, here also AB and CD, these are the two chords, but see how they intersect each other in the exterior of the circle. So this type of division is called as external division. Means A dash B dash E and C dash D dash E. In the previous one, point E was in between A and B and C and D. So here there is a main difference, that point E is beyond the points A and B and C and D, outside the circle. So here also we can say that this AE means complete segment multiplied by BE or EB is equal to CE multiplied by DE. So in this also the same statement we can prove, that is, you can start from this point of intersection also. EB multiplied by EA is equal to ED multiplied by EC. Remember that here many students do the silly mistake and they consider AB multiplied by BE. That is wrong. Always start with the common point, that is E, point of intersection. So AE into BE is equal to CE into DE. So that you have to prove, and the proof is given in the form of activity in a textbook. So that activity you can complete by using the knowledge which you have already taken. Now the last but important theorem of this chapter, that is the tangent secant segment theorem. See here, line ET is a tangent at T, and through this point E only the secant AB is drawn. That means secant AB and tangent ET intersect each other externally at point E. Then here we have to prove that EA multiplied by EB is equal to ET square. So again here also we have to start from the point of intersection. EA multiplied by EB is equal to ET square. ET is the tangent segment, and here EA is one segment, EB is another segment which is formed on this secant, and therefore it is called as tangent secant segment theorem. Now how to prove this? There is one construction here. Draw segment AT and segment BT so that you will get two triangles. Now these two triangles you have to consider and show them they are similar. Triangle EAT and triangle ETB. Now see, in these two triangles, angle E is common only. So you can say that angle AET is congruent angle BET because it is common angle. So that can be written here, angle AET congruent angle TEB, and the reason is common angle. So that we can write here. Common. Another angle ETA. See this angle ETA, which is formed by this secant AT and this tangent ET. This angle is half of this intercepted arc AT. In the same way, if you see angle ABT, it is also half the intercepted arc AT by inscribed angle theorem, and therefore these two angles are congruent. So here angle ETA congruent angle EBT, angles between tangent and secant. Now when two angles are congruent, it's enough to prove the triangles are similar. So triangle EAT similar triangle ETB. See this one-to-one correspondence. E corresponds to E only because it is common. Then angle A corresponds to angle ETB. So A corresponds to T, and angle T means which angle? ETA is corresponds to angle B. So EAT similar triangle ETB, angle test. So that corresponding sides are in proportion. So which are required here? EA corresponds to ET, and again ET we want ET corresponds to EB. Why ET is taken double? Because we require ET square. So ET is taken for both the ratios. So EA upon ET is equal to ET upon EB, and by cross multiplication we get EA multiplied by EB is equal to ET square. So in this way the theorem can be proved. Thank you. Let us solve the practice set 3.5, the first example. See, this first example is directly based on the theorem which you have studied previously, that is theorem of tangent secant segments. Now see, in this figure, ray PQ is a tangent, means it touches the circle at point Q, and if you see line PRS, that means the secant SR intersects the circle at point S and R, and also in the exterior of the circle to this tangent at P. So by the theorem of tangent secant segment theorem, we can get the relation, that is PR multiplied by PS is equal to PQ square. So we can write this relation PR into PS is equal to PQ square, tangent secant segments theorem. Now the values which are given, PQ 12 and PR 8. So PR is 8, PQ is 12. So 8 into PS is equal to 12 square, substituting the given values. So PS is equal to 12 square. Instead of 12 square, I have written this 12 multiplied by 12 and divided by 8. So it is easy to do the calculations. 4 2s are 8, 4 3s are 12. Again these 2 1s are 2, 2 6 are 12. So we get 3 multiplied by 6, that is 18 units. So PS is equal to 18. PS we got. We also have to find out RS. Now we know that P dash R dash S, and therefore PR plus RS is equal to PS. Now substitute the value, PR 12, RS we have to find out, and PS we got 18. So RS will be equal to 18 minus 12. So RS is equal to 6 units. RS is equal to 6 units. So in this way, by using this theorem, we can find out this length PS and length RS. Thank you. Now we will solve the third example of this practice set. See in this figure, O is the center of the circle, AB is the tangent at point B, then a secant through point A intersect the circle at point C and D. OE is perpendicular to this segment AD. AC is given 8, AB is given 12. We have to find length of segment AD, segment DC and segment DE. So how to find out this? First, see that as this AB is tangent segment and ACD is the secant, we get the product AC and AD. AC multiplied by AD is equal to AB square. Tangent secant segment theorem. Substituting values, we get 8 into AD is equal to 12 square. So AD is equal to 144 divided by 8. 18 8s are 144, so AD is equal to 18. Now AC plus DC is equal to AD. AC plus DC is equal to AD, since A dash C dash D. So 8 plus DC is 18, DC is equal to 18 minus 8, that is equal to 10. Now we have to find out DE. As OE is perpendicular to chord DC given to us, we can say that this perpendicular drawn from the center to the chord bisect the chord. That theorem is applied chord theorem. So DE will be equal to half of DC. So we will get DE is equal to half of 10, that means DE is 5. Here units are not given. So we will write all the answers in the form of units. AD is 18 units, DC 10 units and DE 5 units. Okay. Now children, we will solve 16th example of problem set. Just observe in your textbook. In this 16th example, there are 3 sub questions. Out of these 3, only second one we are going to do. First one is based on the corollary of the inscribed angle theorem. Similar question we have already solved from practice set, so you can do it. Second and third are based on the same theorem, so second we will do. So by using that property, you can solve the third one also. In the second example, see here, AB is 4.2, BC 5.4, AE 12 given, and we have to find out AD. Here the two chords BC and ED intersect each other at point A in the exterior of the circle. So we can apply the formula AB into AC is equal to AD into AE. Now AB and BC are given but AC is not given, so we have to find out that AC first. We know that AB plus BC is equal to AC. So 4.2 plus 5.4, that is AC. So AC is equal to 9.6. Now we got AC. Now write the relation. AB into AC is equal to AD into AE by using theorem of external division of chords. Substitute the values. AB is 4.2, AC 9.6 equal to AD into 12. So if we simplify this, we will get 4.2 into 9.6 divided by 12 is equal to AD. Now do the cancellation. 12 ones are, and you know that 12 8s are 96, but here 9.6 is there. So here you will get 0.8. So 4.2 multiplied by 0.8, that is equivalent to 3.36. So AD is equal to 3.36 units. Similarly, the third question of the same 16th one also you can solve. Thank you. Now children, will solve 10th example from problem set 3rd. Just observe the figure. You can see in your textbook also. C is the center of the circle, AB is the diameter. There is one line which is tangent to the circle at point T. From this endpoints of the diameter A and B, the perpendiculars are drawn on the tangent. AP is perpendicular to this line PQ. BQ is perpendicular to line PQ. This information is given to us and we have to prove that segment CP is congruent segment CQ. So we have to do the construction of this segment CP, segment CQ. Now one more construction we have to do here, and that is point C and T should be joined. So draw segment CT. Now children, you know that CT will be the radius and line PQ is a tangent at T. So what is the relation between them? CT is perpendicular to line PQ. So in the proof we can start with the given information. Segment AP perpendicular line PQ, segment BQ perpendicular line PQ, that information is given, and segment CT perpendicular to line PQ, that is the tangent theorem. Now when these all three segments are perpendicular to the common line, then what we can say? All these three segments are parallel to one another. So segment AP parallel segment BQ parallel segment CT. Now when these three lines are parallel, and if we consider the transversal AB and PQ, then we get the ratio AC upon CB is equal to PT upon TQ. And the reason is property of three parallel lines and their transversals. But AC and CB are the radii and therefore they are equal, and therefore we can say that PT is also equal to TQ, because AC upon CB equal means their ratio 1. So PT upon TQ ratio also will be 1, that means PT and TQ are also equal. Now consider these two triangles CTP and CTQ. Now in these two triangles, if you see, we have proved that segment PT is congruent segment TQ from this first one. Then segment CT is the common side, so CT is congruent to CT. And we have already proved that CT perpendicular means angle CTP is congruent angle CTQ, that is each 90 degree. And therefore the two triangles CTP and CTQ are congruent by side angle side test. And when the triangles are congruent, their corresponding sides are also congruent. So segment CP is congruent to segment CQ, and this is only our proof statement. Okay.